How's it going, ladies and Bruces? Up, I'll be Sixkilla, and welcome back to the letter. It's the home invasion. It's time for shit to hit the fan. We're gonna see shit go down. Shit's about to go real down. I don't know how this is gonna play out, but I assume no one's gonna get shot. At least that's how I hope. You see, I've traded in my coffee today for an unhealthy amount of energy drink, just to keep myself going. Let's carry on, shall we?
Look here, fucker. If I wanted you dead, I could have done it so many times already.
We remember this from when we were playing as Ashton anyway.
In fact, I can easily shoot you down right here, right now. And you won't be able to do a
right
damn
here,
thing.
right now.
Even with that gun.
A meeting of two prideful blokes will never go well, whichever lifetime it is. And I can only laugh at his audacity, his lack of shame and fear even when facing the business end of my pistol.
You know what I'm thinking right now? In another lifetime, we would have probably gotten along well.
I would take that as a serious insult if I was Ashton. The best truth I can offer him. Not many people those who have slighted me in particular have lived this long to see it.
And he should be grateful. You're already gracious enough, allowing him to stand in your presence like this.
Yes, especially when he has a lot to answer. Preferably right now. Because as generous as I've been so far, my patience has its limits. My amusement can only last for so long. In 2 steps, I'm standing in front of him, grabbing him by the collar and resting the cold muzzle of the eagle against his temple.
Ashton! Luke, no!
He'll end up a pretty smear on the wall this close.
Teach this loud a lesson.
What is it that you people really want with me? This is the 3rd time this week, and I'm really getting weary of this little game. Did the NCA send you to apprehend me? Or has somebody paid you off to kill me? Which one is it, Feathers? Mind you, my arm's getting tired. Better answer quick if you don't want to beat the business end of this gun.
And he knows it. Of course he does. He's a trained officer, isn't he? But not many bother to be as cautious as him. One glimpse at my handgun's safety earlier is all it took for him to see that I mean business. Similar. Too similar. We're too alike in so many little ways it's funny. Down to the fact that he doesn't even flinch, no matter how heavy the threat in my words are. Even knowing how one flick of my finger on the trigger will be enough to end his sorry life, he should have caved in by now, started begging like so many others before him. Instead he throws more vitriol, adds more kindling to the fire already burning.
I'm not with NCA. I'm just here to help. There's something else in this house, and we're all in danger. You have to believe me, right? You need to let us go. You need to get out of here before it's too late. If you want to keep your sorry ass alive, you'll listen to people with more brain cells than you.
Which is everyone. Igniting it further that I can't help but return it to him in equal fervor. We don't need him, my love.
Why, you insolent!
We both decide to move in that moment, both our bodies tensing, each of us racing to get ahead of the other. However, before we can get a head start, a voice unexpectedly rings above the chaos about to ensue.
Luke, help me. Please.
And this is where we wrapped up before. I've always been cautious and careful, cutting off trouble's head before things can escalate if I'm able. That's why I deal with the likes of Harvey, Suarez and Johans. For all who we are, for all the enemies the likes of us can make, such a thing has never happened before because I do everything to make sure it doesn't happen. So to see Hannah in danger? I don't quite know how to feel or what to do. Of all the times there has to be a hostage situation, if this is even one, why now? Good fucking god, what is going on here?
Help me. Please. Please make it stop.
I think death would be preferable if my sense of self-preservation was shot to high hell. It would deprive me of choice and of responsibility in the matter. And I don't want to think about how fast my heart beats, so that I hardly hear anything other than my own heartbeat and her pleading.
Please. They're in my head. Screaming. It hurts so much.
What do I do? What can I do against someone holding your life in their hands? With a woman that looks more like monster than man. When her expression turns into one of amusement and her horrific laughter fills the air, I'm torn apart. This is my fault, isn't it? Hannah's in danger because of me. Everybody I love always ends up hurt or worse. And even when I choose to let her go, she is no exception. Hannah's unbroken begging, makes it all much more painful, because I still love Hana, I really do. But will I really endanger myself for a woman who might not love me back anymore? Still, something in me dies a little when that woman laughs, as if it's all some sick joke. Her smile taunts me, filling my head with laughter and rage until I can barely think over the cacophony in my head. And the way the woman looks at me, it's as if she's watching, waiting for my next move.
Please, someone, anyone, help me.
This is crazy, and I don't know what I should do. I know for a fact that one shouldn't aggravate a hostage taker. There's no winning an argument with someone who holds a life easily taken. But I need to do something, right? My decision is taken from me, however. Mint is all impetuous and no thought, no holding back as she steps up. Her eyes are blaze afire in anger and defiance. Her jaw and her stance is set, fists curled at her sides, as if she can just sock the width in the face and have it bear no consequence. She looks like a warrior saint, and I'd name one of them if I knew any. She thankfully does not rush headlong like an idiot, but she falters, the fire in her eyes down to nothing but a small spark when the woman laughs in her face. There's fear in her face, and that does nothing to settle my worries. And she has the gall to turn her ire on me instead.
What are you doing just standing there when she has Hana?
Oh, what the bloody hell do you expect me to do?
Get your fucking arse in gear and do anything?
Yes, that's very helpful, McCullough. Telling me to get my arse in gear isn't going to help solve shit here. This isn't some bloody action film where me charging in is going to save anyone. One stupid move from any of us, and Hana might be dead because of it.
I know she looks like a scary fucker and all, but she's your wife, you gobshite. There must be something.
The woman doesn't look armed, but that doesn't mean she's not dangerous. If anything, the fact that she's this confident, this unperturbed, while being barehanded is testimony to itself. Either she's well prepared or she's just that crazy. And it's one thing to work with hostage takers, and another thing entirely to work with the criminally insane. Yes. A hush settles over the room as she speaks up. Her voice is but a whisper, and deathly slow, and I'm hard-pressed to hear it over the pounding of my heart in my ears. She speaks, the woman from the gardens and the servant girl from the ballroom, from the hallucination, vision, memories, whatever they were.
Will you not speak up for her? Will you not try to save your beloved wife?
I cannot stop the heat from flooding my cheeks, shame turning me red and making me grit my teeth in anger. And that same anger sets a fire in me, burns through the fear. It spurs me on to call her out because of pride.
Why? Will my words hold any sway? Who's to say you won't snap her neck the moment I take one step? Do you take me for an idiot?
I take you for a coward.
That's fair.
Nothing but a spineless coward.
It seems she's found what she's looking for, and that she has no further use for Hana. A hand on Hana's back sends her falling down the stairs. She's nothing but a rag doll, thrown away because she's lost interest with her, like a child with an old toy. I'm frozen in place, but Mint, she catches her, and she sends the two of them sprawling at the foot of the stairs. Clearly it was a painful landing, further aggravated by the fact that the Irish woman, it seems, is weak. It still seems. Yet, I just watch as she puts Hana's well-being first. She pulls the both of them to their feet and dusts their clothes off. There's a small strained smile on her face and a tinge of red, one that I can't entirely attribute to adrenaline, on her face all the while.
You all right there, Hana? Were you hurt?
The shine in her eyes almost makes me feel jealous, though I don't know who wouldn't be. Mint is a handsome lady. And with the way she looks at Hana, well, anyone would be lucky if Hana ever so much as looked their way.
Oh no, I'm fine, Marianne. Are you alright? I wasn't too heavy, was I?
If Hana doesn't wish to be with me anymore, perhaps she'll easily find happiness with another. And McCullough seems like she has the stuff to make her a good significant other.
Well, a little bit. Not that I'm saying you're fat or anything.
Hana laughs, out of breath, and she smiles at me, though that disappears as quickly as it had appeared. We aren't quite out of the woods yet, and she hasn't forgotten what I did, or rather, what I failed to do. It's only fair, I suppose. I'm nothing but a coward in her eyes. A sorry excuse for a man who can't even muster up the courage to protect her. And we nearly forget, for a moment.
You do not deserve what you have.
Just hearing her voice triggers something in Hana, and she starts to tear up. Her face contorts into one of pain and fear. Mint is quick to place her hands on Hana's face so that she looks at her, and her alone.
This is right. Look at me and take deep breaths. She doesn't have you anymore, alright?
I don't know exactly what in the bloody hell is going on, yet I can't find it in me to care. Whoever these people are and whatever they're here for, this is not acceptable. For all I know, this is some dumb charade to get to me. All these times I've seen the woman before, it could all be an act to get to me, to get under my skin. And to think they dare hurt Hana? For all that fear that I had felt, seeing her touch Hana, I could only think of her as an actress in grotesque makeup. My hand still shakes, the fear not quite having gone, but my anger fills me as I look at the woman, a sneer on my face.
How dare you! I don't care who you are, but how dare you touch Hana! I want you out of my house, out before I call the police and have you put away for the rest of your miserable life! And that goes for all of you!
I hold my ground firm and strong with my declaration, but the nerve of her, she just laughs in my face. A terrible, dreadful laugh that makes me feel as if there are ants crawling on my skin and maggots squirming in my ears.
You are telling me to get out of your house? You threatened to lock me up.
She laughs and she laughs.
What's so funny? What are you laughing at? None of this is funny!
But she persists, and it almost feels like her voice is in my head.
Oh, no different. No different. You're all the same. You can all suffer together.
And that's when everything turns to complete and utter shite. It's a slow thing. A whisper more than a bang as the darkness creeps into every corner of the room. The walls shudder and groan. Blood runs from the ceiling, crawls down the walls and stains the floor. It feels as if life itself is being sucked from the house slowly but surely. The beauty of the place is gone, with only the dead, decaying remains of a mansion left in its wake. I don't have to wonder if it's just the foyer that's become this nightmarish place. I can already hear it. Gone are the growling of thunder and the lashings of rain and wind against the foyer's high windows, all of it replaced with a more grating sound. A cacophony of voices from nowhere and everywhere, echoing throughout the now horrid walls. Voices that neither belong to us nor the people who live here.
What's going on?
All throughout the house, shouts of alarm and surprise ring out, a mirror to the horror creeping up in each of us. Who wouldn't be shocked? This is insane. Even Daisy, feisty woman that she is, trembles at the sight of it, clinging desperately to Lily, while Feathers stands protectively in front of the two. Brave of him, I have to admit, to put himself in the front like that. Though it doesn't necessarily mean he feels the same fear as the rest of us. He doesn't feel. Something I don't blame him for. There seems to be no end in sight to this insanity. If anything, this only feels like it's the beginning of the end.
Help me! Oh my god! Please, somebody! Anybody! Who are you? Stay away! No. Stay away!
This is not good.
Stay away!
No! She's here! You've gotta let me out! She's gonna kill me!
Poor Zach.
Someone! She's...
Their screams fill the mansion. She laughs all the while, a harsh, agonizing sound that goes on for what feels like forever. Until there is nothing but silence, her horrid smile and pale hands reaching out to me. Calling, beckoning, pleading. I'm terrified, I really am, like I should be. But I've never been one to truly stay afraid. I've long learned that fear will not get me anywhere. Cowering in a corner doesn't keep me safe, and it will not keep me alive. Not like rage does. I've learned to use this burning hate inside of me to survive. There is no difference now.
Stay away from me!
Why do you wish to leave? This is where you belong, my lord. Remember the blood we share? This is your home. Don't you remember? You promised to return, to stay, together with me, with us, with people no different from you. What is she talking about, Luke? What does she mean?
Don't listen to her, she lies. I promised no such thing to anyone. Hana, you're the one who bought this house. How should I know what she's babbling about? I never even wanted to be here in the first place.
A terrible case of mistaken identity, that must be it. I'm quite sure of it. I don't know this woman, this monster. Why would I say that to someone like her? In my entire lifetime, I've only made and kept sincere promises to a mere 2 people. Hannah Evans and Eleanor Chandler. No one else. The rest of those who've claimed I promised anything to them to go fuck themselves. Bloody hell, I may enjoy the company of women, but I'm not an idiot to start spouting such nonsense to anyone. A line must be drawn, especially if I'm to keep myself alive. Yet she still goes on, insists, making me appear a liar in front of these people.
Of course you still deny it. Have you truly forgotten?
Apparently.
You haven't changed, I see. Still a deceiver.
She's lying!
You see, my love, nothing has changed. Still no difference, you and I. Just like the rest of us. Just like every single soul in this putrid wreck. You've waited for so long. You can hear them, yes. Their pleas, their calls.
Are they the people that she's killed? Is that why Zach's voice is there? Does she just take their souls and bring them into the house?
Their invitation. Come, my lord. The house seeks its master.
The monster reaches out again, her hand a gory, abhorrent sight. Along with that smile spread across her face, my body's already moving on instinct. Stumbling back one step at a time in a desperate bid to be away from her, anything to put distance between me and this vile creature. No matter what she says, I'm nothing like her. I need to get out of this house. Out of this country, preferably. There's nothing for me here, not anymore. Nothing to keep me tied to this place. And with Hannah planning to leave me, Shrocken likely taken by this woman, nothing left to bind me to this wretched city. I can leave, I can...
Careful, Luke!
My foot steps on something, sending me sliding on my back and flat on the floor. Beside me a paper, familiar one, flutters down. What's this thing again, from the open house? Though it feels less like a gimmick and more like a threat, with recent events. I must have fallen off one of these peasants in the commotion earlier. For a moment, they appear conflicted to see it in my hands, but wisely keep their opinions to themselves, leaving the damned thing to simply bear its grisly message for everyone in the room to see. Help me. Help me. Help me. Is this it? What they've been telling us? Why everything in my life has gone to shit? Because of some stupid old letter? An invitation, indeed. One I'm not willing to accept. Not any time. From the top of the stairs, the creature moves again, drawing my attention back to it. Her gait remains slow and awkward as she walks forward, that smile never leaving her. But I won't give her the chance. I'm not dying here. I'm certainly not giving myself to a hideous creature like her either. Adrenaline kicks in, and despite panicked gasps and worried glances from Daisy's friends, I pay them no mind as I reach for the main door and, without warning, it slams open, revealing not the mansion grounds like I'm expecting. Before my mind can even comprehend what's happening, black tendrils have already coiled tightly around my limbs, dragging every person in the foyer into the room. None of us even get to scream when darkness completely envelops us upon the doors closing.
Understand where your place is now, my love. You belong here. Is it so difficult to grasp? We've been waiting.
There's a moment of panic when the feeling of the tendrils around my limbs finally dissipates. As soon as my eyes adjust to the darkness of the room and I'm on my feet, I'm reaching for my knife and holding it out, watching, waiting for every movement, using it as a way to put distance between me and these peasants. Who knows what they'll do now? We're all desperate to get out of this house. There's only 6 of us in the room, 3 of them friends at that. I cannot trust these people not to turn on me. Bloody hell, even Hannah's giving me the same look as them now. Though Mint has already gone loon, crouched in the corner and muttering to herself, you can't really say anyone's safe from her. If anything, she's the one I should watch out for. I cannot trust anyone. Not anymore. Not after this. Despite the pleading, Lily shoots my way when they all huddle in the corner behind Feathers. But I have to remind myself that even people like her are capable of doing the unpleasant. She's only human after all. It's never an excuse why even Hannah has her cunning, manipulative moments, though she does it much subtler than I. Why else would Lily show this letter to us that day if not to save herself? I guess that backfired on her now, that she and her own friends are also stuck here. Still, I have every right to be livid. Everything I've built has fallen apart. All because these people came into our lives.
You! All of you! This is all your fault! If I'm dying to this bloody case, I'm taking you all down with me!
Luke, please put that knife away. This isn't going to solve anything.
He's such a reasonable, mature adult, isn't he?
Calm down, right? The situation's already bad. You're just making it worse.
You shut your mouth! If it weren't for you, or this letter, for all of you, none of this would have happened!
Is your life all that matters to you? What about these people here? Don't they have the same problem? What about me, Luke? Do you even care?
Are you taking their side? You're also stuck in this nightmare, Hannah! That creature is out to get us, and you're still defending these people!
I'm not defending anyone, Luke. I'm just trying to be reasonable when you're clearly not.
Oh, of course you're not. You're just the one who bought this bloody mansion to begin with. If I didn't know any better, you did this on purpose!
Why, no. Why would I ever do that? This was only meant to be an anniversary gift. For you. For us. For the family we're going to have.
Right, anniversary gift. Oh, here's your gift, darling. Oh, by the way, there's a curse included in that package. I hope that's all right. Are you really that eager to get rid of me, Hannah? Because if that's what you've been meaning to do all this time, you might as well just put a knife in my back while I'm...
Well, that would be a lot easier, yeah. A lot less convoluted. Suddenly, Hannah steps up and slaps the knife away from my hand. Said knife slides uselessly under the table out of my reach. Before my mind registers what's happening, a sharp blow explodes in the side of my head, sending me reeling backwards. Nice. She merely stands before me afterwards, without even batting an eye, glaring at me as if she might just rip my head off this instant. Sometimes I forget.
Don't you dare, Luke. Don't you dare imply I've ever thought of you that way.
That Hannah is never the weak woman I believed her to be. How did I come to think of her as such? She used to be someone I can look up to, isn't she? When you look at her now, the way she stands tall facing a man like me, the same way she's done so all those years ago, I can't help but think, am I not responsible for taking that part of herself away from her? Enjoy your time as Mrs. Luke Wright? What a bunch of shite. Figures why she wants to leave me.
And these people are only trying to help us.
Oh, of course, by barging into our home. Are you really going to trust them to save your life? These peasants who brought this pox upon us.
Keep talking about us like that and see if any of us here will keep you out of this place.
Rebecca, stop! All of you stop this!
To hear Lily speak out loud, I can't say I'm not surprised. She's always given me the impression of someone so meek from the moment I've met her, either from her inexperience or her station in life. She's never struck me as someone fitting to be a real estate agent. If anything, that meltdown she had during the open house had only proven my assumptions. Until now. Quietly, she put herself between me and Daisy, cutting whatever scathing words were yet to hurl at each other. The way she glares at me reminds me a little of the way my own mum would look at me, particularly when I'd done something wrong. And it's not a stare she's unused to showing. She's done this before, probably to a younger sibling. Huh. If she only sees us now as a pair of squabbling kids and not two mature adults, well, that's only to be expected. No doubt that's how she sees us. For a long moment, there's only silence in the room. Feathers, for all his guts, doesn't even dare to break it, merely watching us. Where did all his bravado go now, huh? Not that it matters when Lily starts speaking again, after some of the anger and tension is lifted from the room.
Stop this, please! With or without that damn piece of paper,
A deep breath, an exhale, and then she closes her eyes, a crease forming between her eyebrows while she grips her hand tightly in front of her.
we still would have ended up in this mess.
The atmosphere that descends into the room right after that admission is anything but pleasant. Can I call it that, an admission? It seems like it from the way her eyes nervously flick between her friends and I. She appears to know more than she leads on, and how she makes herself appear smaller after dropping that bomb on us doesn't sit quite well with me. And patience is something I don't have the luxury of having right now and bestowing upon other people. What else does this girl know? What else is she not telling us? Because from the looks of this, even her friends have no idea what she's talking about. Unwilling to wait, I grab her arm before she retreats without explanation, waving the letter still in my hand in front of her.
Ow! Sir, you're hurting me!
Hey, hands off her, right?
Fuck off, Feathers. I have questions for your friend, and she better have the answers.
Luke, will you stop taking it out on every single person?
Your friend is hiding something, Daisy.
She struggles for a moment, but my hold eventually forces her to look up at me. Fear and uncertainty spread across her features, especially when her eyes land on the damn paper. As much as I want to be considerate right now, I want answers.
What do you mean, Lily?
I'm not sure about it.
Don't give me that, you know something!
Ow! Please, sir. I know the paper's useless, okay?
At the mention of the letter, all of a sudden, Mint stands. I'd almost forgotten she's here. Her ramblings have faded away out in the shouting. Without warning, she snatches the paper out of my hand. It's a miracle it didn't rip there and then and there. But the way she glares at it, I think she may want to do exactly that.
We should have gotten rid of this thing. We should have burned it at the first opportunity we got.
No, even if we rip it to shreds, it won't do anything. I think...
You don't know what I've seen, Santos. There were children, victims, all because they had no idea what this thing will do to them. Oh God, those poor souls. They were screaming and begging before she...
Then what about those people they mentioned in the news lately? All those who died? My coworkers? The open house clients? None of them had seen it. Even Rose. And yet they're all dead.
Rose had seen it, we showed it to her, remember? Although I don't know if she actually looked at it, but we did show it to her.
I should know. That letter has been with me since I picked it up. And I swear I didn't make copies of this thing. Even if I wanted to save myself, I wouldn't do that to my friends. Or anyone.
Is that what the trip to BRC was for?
Yes, I'm sorry. I couldn't tell you guys until I was certain. None of you believed me the first time. I had to find proof.
And yet we're all here! Are you taking me for a fool, Lily?
I have to go with whiskey on this. Who knows how many has already seen this before you found it? This cursed thing has to go!
We would have ended up here either way. Maybe? I really don't know. Sir, please. All I know is that paper isn't the reason why all of this is happening.
You might as well let them tear it up though, who gives a shit?
There's something else. Maybe it's this place that's the problem. Maybe it's this we should be getting rid of.
What? You mean, like, burn this place down?
I still think we should get rid of this letter before we start thinking of destroying a place with some historical value.
What? No! We are not burning a multi-million-pound mansion, you peasants! I just spent a fortune on this!
Actually, didn't Hannah spend a fortune on this?
Seriously, Luke? Are you really more worried about that?
Buttercup, marching, millions. It's going to take years getting all that money back.
Well, you certainly won't be getting any of that money if you're dead. Really, Luke? Is that more important than your life?
Bloody fucking hell! Not only do I have trespassers on my property, but they're also arsonists!
How dare they suggest something like that? Bloody peasants. My head's already aching just listening to them. To think this is the solution they can come up with, I should have just stabbed all of them and made a run for it. Doesn't help that with each second we spend talking here, the crazier this whole place gets. The voices have become louder and somehow sounding more vicious. If the things in the room start floating, mark my words, I'll fucking flip out. And they may not be thinking of it right now, but eventually, they'll turn on me. Such is the nature of humans. Better to find a way out of this place as soon as possible if I want to stay alive. Fuck, I still have so much to do. You know, if you don't want people turning on you, maybe you shouldn't act like such a fucking asshole all the time. Because that makes you really easy to turn on and not feel bad about it. Like, I could turn on you and not feel bad about it at all, because you suck. None of our choices seem sound, but who knows? We don't understand a shite about this place. Maybe as well try everything, yeah? Whatever works. I also have to be the one to make that bloody decision, so be it. There's room for errors. But the only sane one doing the thinking, on the off chance I'm wrong, well, they suggested it. I decide to... Why can't we just burn the letter and then burn the mansion if that doesn't work, right? Might as well burn the letter first. It's an easy decision to make, especially with these cries growing louder. Like, if burning the letter doesn't work, then burn the mansion. Why would you burn the mansion first? Like, just rip up the letter, fuck it, who cares? It's just a letter, who gives a shit? I'm getting tired of it, really. I simply have to act fast, think fast. And what else is the root cause of our problems but that letter? No need to make things more complicated. It started from there, why won't it end there? If what Mint said is true, then there's all the more reason to destroy it. Put an end to this madness before anyone can think about passing it on to someone else. Before the situation can stretch on far too long for my taste, I snatch the blasted paper away.
Give me that.
For a second she appears offended until I take out Mum's lighter. The sight of it shuts them all up. But I have no need for their opinion. In the next moment I'm already setting the letter on fire. And it doesn't take long for the thing to catch fire. It's old, for heaven's sake. Though I make sure none of the ashes end up on anything flammable. It'll be an inferno inside this study, with all the books and documents stored here. Not that a big flame's anything to worry about in this case. In fact, in a matter of minutes, the damn thing has turned to ashes on the floor. With nothing left to burn though, the fire dies, faded into thin air and a whiff of smoke, leaving only the awful scent of burnt paper in the room. But as the last of the paper turns to cinders, a sharp, agonized wail echoes from somewhere in the mansion, before quickly dying out, taking with her the horrors she has brought upon the mansion. Slowly before our eyes, the mansion changes again. Blood fading from the walls, ceiling and floor, returning the place to its old beauty, gone is the darkness, quickly replaced by the artificial lights in the room. Even the smell of blood and gore has completely disappeared from the room. Perhaps the only thing undesirable left are the dumbfounded looks they're giving me.
See? Wasn't that easy? For fuck's sake, you people need to get your heads checked. How did you all make it this far in life with that kind of thinking? Well, you can all thank me later for this.
Oh, shit's about to get real bad then.
You may now show yourselves out of my property before I call the police on you simpletons.
I walk out of the study without a single glance back at them, more than eager to finally get fresh air. They can find their way out of this place, I'm sure. I better not catch them again here, though, or I will not be happy. Outside there is only silence. Deafening. Still. The same hush that comes after a terrible storm has swept the countryside. And with it, from the wide open windows, is the sight of the sun rising above the horizon. Ever so slowly, the sky begins to lighten before my eyes. Darkness giving way to the warm morning hues, soft rays spilling over the vast expanse of Luxbourne's countryside. Nearby, the trees sway and rustle with the breeze, a passing draft that carries even into this room from outside, cold enough to make me shiver. The remains of a storm that has passed. In the distance I can hear the soft chirping of birds, while the rest of the world stirs, wakes. Dawn at last. We are free. For undisclosed reasons to the public, the mansion is put back on the market months later, while Briar Realty Corporation faces criminal charges filed by one Luke Wright. After the news of the lawsuit broke out and the realty company's declaration of bankruptcy, rumors quickly spread across Luxbourne City. But for those who still believe in the stories of the old, and those who know the truth, it is but a testament to the curse and the secrets of the Ermengarde mansion has hidden for centuries. If there will come a time, those will finally be revealed. Only the hallowed halls of the mansion know. To this day it stands silent. However, on nights when the wind howls and thunder booms across the sky, some still claim hearing of voices within. Of cries and wails that fill the night and desperate calls of help for anyone who dares listen. As for those who once tread its halls. Unable to settle their differences, Hannah Wright eventually filed for divorce from Luke Wright. For several months, they become a subject of gossip and mass media in the city. In spite of this, two have uncharacteristically remained tight-lipped on the circumstances of their separation. Though many assumed it to be the inevitable falling out stemming from the trouble during the couple's housewarming party. To everyone's surprise, however, Luke Wright quietly accepts the court's decision and disappears from the Evans heiress's life, without creating much fuss. Even after Hannah Evans has given birth to their children months later, the man is rarely seen around the family. Merely leaving his children paltry gifts in the mailbox whenever he's in town, never showing his face. With the Wrights couple's separation also comes the Wrights-Evans conglomerate split up. Although the Wright enterprise still manages to do well in the business with Evans Incorporated back as a competitor, other tech leak places its CEO and the company under legal spotlight months later. This time, however, with the then Chief Inspector Harvey Lee's sudden absence, the businessman isn't able to escape close scrutiny. In an investigation held by LBPD's Detective Inspector Ashton Frey, oh nice, all of Wright Enterprises' illegal business dealings are, within the past 10 years, come to light. Although his involvement with the other crimes is still being investigated, the disclosure has caused a huge outcry, especially from the city's business sector. Sued on multiple grounds, the company is ultimately forced to shut down. Oddly, when Luke Wright steps out of the office one last time, there's only a small smile on his face. To avoid public outrage, the once affluent businessman immediately leaves the city. All of his bank accounts have been emptied, including his Luxbourne apartments, leaving not a single trace or clue where he might be hiding. The last anyone has seen of the man was on a flight bound for Ireland. Till this day, no one has heard from him. Not even Hannah Evans. I thought he leaves gifts in the mailbox, though. Even as people from the old Wright Enterprise, who have all been left to deal with the aftermath. Though over the past few months after the situation has calmed, some have made claims of spotting him flitting in and out of the city. If only to check on those he has left behind. Following the company's split, Hannah Evans re-establishes Evans Incorporated, becoming its CEO, like her late father had always wanted for her. Though a bit out of practice and doubted by many people at first, the Evans heiress quickly finds her bearings and proves to be every bit as talented in the business as her parents. Soon under her management, the new Evans Inc. flourishes, becoming one of the prime investments and financial companies in Luxbourne City. Months after her recovery, Marianne McCullough heads back to her hometown, ready to close a chapter on her past that has been left hanging for so long. There she visits Lorraine's grave, asks for forgiveness from the girl she once loved, something she has intentionally avoided for years. Although the terror of what she has witnessed inside the Ermengarde mansion still clings to her, she bravely chooses to move on from it. Turning a new leaf by focusing on a new branch of her interior design company and leaving her interior design company at Luxbourne in the hands of her secretary instead. Although she never returns to the city after, she is frequently seen visiting to check on the people she has become acquainted with in her years there. Having finally accepted herself, she won't deny she's in a happier place now. Despite making the Ireland branch of the interior design company her focus now, Marianne continues to cater to her most avid patrons in Luxbourne when requested. And after her work on the Ermengarde mansion, Hannah Evans has never trusted another to handle the design of any place she owns. Upon moving back to the Evans mansion after her divorce, Marianne's name is the first thing she calls, and the woman is quick to fly back to the city at the socialite summons. Not only helping with the decorations of the old place, but also assisting with the renovations, much to Hannah's delight. Since then, the two women have kept close friendship and a close business relationship. Often they can be seen going around town together, when Marianne's in town, and the Evans heiress can be heard recommending the designer to her peers during parties. Some even go so far as to say Hannah Evans has confided with Marianne McCullough during the tumultuous times of her divorce with Luke Wright. Whatever the case is, one cannot deny that both women have found a confidant in the other. In the months that follow, Rebecca Gales becomes a prominent researcher within Luxbourne's major academic circles, especially after writing what she has discovered about the Anselm village and the Ermengarde mansion. With help from Professor Andrew Clark, she is soon able to secure funding to continue her research, presenting her findings yearly at local and international symposiums. Now at the tail end of her current study, she hopes to publish her first book, correcting all inaccuracies in the city's current history. A move supported by both colleagues, students, and friends alike. Though she knows she still has a long way to go before she can even begin to change people's minds about it, Professor Clark has warned her as much. She perseveres, doing it not for herself but the sake of what she's lost after the curse. As fresh as the wounds are still, this is how she remembers. Things have inevitably become strained between Ashton Frey and Rebecca Gales in the months following her confession. And with their lives getting busier, the two eventually drifted apart. Although neither talks about it, and the teacher still strives to forget an old love, it's clear in Rebecca that there are still feelings she couldn't let go of. If anything, however, it has only made it obvious how much has changed between them, and how much she has clung to the idea of Ashton from their younger days, the one that may not be there in the first place. Merely an idea for a starry-eyed young girl. But if there will be a time she'll be able to accept this, to move on from the hurt and repair an old friendship that has fallen to ruin, only she knows. With newfound courage, Isabella Santos finally chooses to pursue what she really wants for herself. Having made enough to keep her family afloat for a few years, and with their blessing, she quits her job at Bra Realty Corporation, not that she has a choice because they went bankrupt, and takes the scholarship offer from the local university. Though remarkably out of practice and unsure if she'll be able to keep up by the time she returns to university, she finds her feet soon enough with the help of people close to her. and with their confidence in her skills growing, so do the number of people recognizing her and her work. It doesn't take long for several award-giving bodies to take notice of her, for all her accomplishments. However, she has never truly forgotten what happened at the Ermengarde mansion, nor what she has lost. The images still remain in her, and on particular unpleasant nights, terrors continue to visit her dreams. She knows those won't ever disappear from her life. It has become a part of her, in the same way death is permanently taken from her. However, she's no longer afraid, and with a brave face she carries on, earnestly wishing that someday she'll be able to paint brighter, more vivid thoughts on her canvas. An honest portrayal of life and hope amidst the fear. Shortly after accepting the scholarship grant from Luxbourne University, Isabella moves from Salemwell residences in favour of staying in a dorm close to the campus. Although Rebecca Gale's quick to offer assistance for the move, she does admit she'll be missing her neighbour of more than 5 years. When all is said and done, she's become fonder of the girl over the years, and with their shared experience over the curse, they've only grown closer. Isabella leaves with a promise to visit every once in a while. And even though she still jokingly complains about Rebecca's bossy attitude, she confesses that she also misses the woman's fussing. After all, in a place miles away from her real family, Rebecca's still the closest thing she has to her sister. Following his success in bringing the Luxbourne firm case to a close, Ashton Frey receives a commendation for transfer to Luxbourne's lead agency against organised crime. An endorsement eagerly backed by the newly appointed successor to the late Chief Inspector Lee, Abigail Harris. Knowing he'll have more resources, leeway, and a bigger chance at immediately bringing Luke Wright to justice, Ashton Frey accepts. He still warns people closest to him against Wright and his associates, but only a friendly reminder now, more than anything. Though he does worry, he believes they are wise enough to know what they're doing and trusts their judgment. For now, he's decided to leave the evidence and the law to speak for itself and take care of the man once the proper time comes. Nowadays, police work and operations keep him busy, sometimes taking him away from the city he once grew up in. A rare thing for him to enjoy once upon a time, yet this time he never loses his drive, simply growing more determined after having found a clear purpose, close to the rush and excitement he dreamed of as a child. Although Ashton still keeps mum about specific details of his work, his experience with the curse has slowly taught him how to open up, especially to those he knows that genuinely care for him. He still has a long way to go, he knows that, but for the sake of the people who are still with him, those who have chosen to stay, as well as what he has lost, he hopes that there will come a day when he no longer has to hide behind his own lies. A day when he's no longer afraid of facing the truth, in his own words. After a bit of fumbling, a few missteps here and there, and moments of briefly allowing their uncertainties to hang over them, Ashton Frey and Isabella Santos finally find a rhythm. Theirs isn't a soaring love by any means, nor is it a happily ever after, often told in the picture books the girl has only ever dreamed of having in childhood. Far from it, in fact. Despite what people glimpse their eyes or glean it in their gestures, they both know better than to cling to ideals. A stranger will say they're in love, hopelessly, genuinely, and there is certainly truth in it. One only has to look. However, what they never see is this. Beyond the soft smiles, fleeting glances, and gentle touches only meant for the other, is a grief, a terror that never seems to lift, constantly filling their nights with echoes of an unforgiving wail and unwelcome dreams that stirs either awake in darkest hours of dawn. It's never truly left them, and it never will. In the same way, the light scar on Ashton's hand will never fully heal, or the horrid images in Isabella's mind will never fade. But they cope, in hushed whispers and tender reassurances, with light kisses and long embraces. When that no longer suffices, when the horror becomes too much for them to bear, they have each other, a warmth to hold on to in the coldest of nights, and for them, it is more than enough. And that's it, Jesus. Well, I think I'll leave this one as a very short epilogue episode, I suppose, or I'll tack it to the other one. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out. We'll let the credits run. If there is a post-credit sequence, we'll be back for that. And then in the next episode, we'll start working towards our true ending run, which will be a very short skip through, just changing some choices to get to the right place. But yeah, till then, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.
Where every path is the wrong turn, and every choice is a 'Cause people can lie, but my lone heart